ASPN family, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jill. And this is Roadhouse Idiots.
Good intentions. Everybody has good intentions. So two things are kind of taking place. One is Donatello going nuts. The second is Jack and Mary and teaming up with Bobby and having a little fisticuff with Zachariah. Not Kurt Fuller Zachariah, but Zachariah nonetheless.
Well, it's great.
In the alternate Apocalypse world.
So, going against your, I know you're mad about these characters coming back, but I really feel like this new plot happening with Jack...
Yeah, I was...
is a really good way to bring in more Bobby.
It was a good way to bring more Bobby.
Because I don't think this is Bobby's last episode either.
No.
Because now they have this plot and Bobby's gained his trust. And also, now that Bobby and Mary are officially in a scene together, at the Supernatural New Jersey convention, after I had already gotten to ask Sam Smith a few questions, the final question I was going to ask her, but then Jensen came out and interrupted, was going to be, do you think that Mary would run into alternate universe Bobby? And if so, would they hit it off? And I don't know, guys. It's a possibility.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, let's go into this episode's plot.
Well, we just did.
I know, but your thoughts. Give me a little.
It was a bridge episode. It was bridging... what had happened in the first 13 episodes, and basically it's going to connect to what's going to happen throughout the rest of the season, with the exception of two things. The next two episodes are probably not going to have anything. Well, actually, I disagree. I think, so, for all you Marvel comic fans out there, to me, the end of this episode is very much similar to the upcoming plot of the upcoming Avengers movie. In the upcoming Avengers movie, Thanos is going to have the Infinity Gauntlet, and he has to collect all 6 Infinity Stones to fill the Infinity Gauntlet. Here in the supernatural world, we have this spell, which we were given 4 ingredients that are going to allow Sam and Dean to enter the Apocalypse world. So these 4 ingredients are essentially your MacGuffins.
Or your Horcruxes for
exactly.
you Harry Potter fans.
It's the MacGuffin. It's the MacGuffin for the rest of the season. You had a hot take saying it could be the end of the show.
I
agree with that.
I actually think, guys, when they talked about the plot, when Jack made the decision that this war is not going to end unless I kill Michael, and they've finally been talking about not putting Lucifer in his cage, but actually killing him, which has not been done before. And if all of you who recall watching this series since it came out, you guys all know, the ones who have been watching it since the beginning, that the show was originally supposed to end after season 5. And it was supposed to end with the plot of this war with Michael versus Lucifer. And it's kind of feeling full circle to me now, but instead of letting them take the war into their hands, now that they've learned more, let's destroy them both and end the possibility of war. And I honestly think... don't hate me for saying this, guys, but I honestly think if they pull that off well, that would be a really, really great way to end the series, because it would toss acknowledgments to everything that they were working towards from the beginning, and it would give a finality to it, and it would be this really tough journey. And I'm not saying it should end this season. I think that could carry them into an abbreviated 14th season
where it would end at 300 episodes
and get some really great kick-ass ending episodes. I honestly don't
think you need a full 14th season to wrap
do it.
Up
and I mean, listen. If it goes on beyond that and they want to come up with other plots, I will be here supporting this show. But I can see that. If you've talked to a lot of the actors at conventions, they won't say when it's ending because they're afraid of the reaction they're going to get. But they've kind of been hinting that they might want to be working on other projects eventually. And I can see this being a really cool, a really great way to end and wrap up the entire story. And I think if they do that, guys, at the very least, it would be a really cool way of wrapping everything up.
But yeah, it's basically it's a search for Horcruxes.
Yeah, I like the Horcruxes. Searching for Horcruxes.
I mean, it wasn't a heavy episode. It was just kind of a...
It was a very big transitioning episode, so it was so not filler. It was a building episode, a bridge, as you said, because it was needed. I also, though, gaps, yeah. I really love Jack and Mary's relationship, and I think it's going to make for the people, especially because Jack is very likable amongst the fandom, and I think people have had some resistance to Mary, and I think that the hardest thing for Mary is Mary didn't really have a place because she was the mother of boys who were older than her. She was grieving the loss of her children and didn't know where her place was. Jack is so youthful and is more boyish-like, so I think it's easier for that mother-son relationship to sort of blossom and build. And they're both just, their heart's in the right place. And I also think Mary's going to be more free now because that conversation, that's the other thing I want to talk about.
The conversation
with Bobby, yes. I thought was super freeing because Mary is carrying this weight and this guilt and this, I made the wrong decision. I made all these bad choices. My boys have this terrible life because of me. And then she realizes the her that didn't make those decisions, look at how much worse the situation is. And I think it's a really good parallel and lesson throughout the show of you cannot regret what decisions you made. Yeah. It's just moving. And then, all right, so we established, there's one more thing we gotta talk about. Freaking Bamf Castiel, just like, he's soulless, I need this information, bye.
Yep.
And since we already made one Harry Potter reference tonight, that felt very like Dementor's kiss.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, basically.
Because he's already soulless, and now let's just suck out every other piece of humanity.
And now
he's just a soulless vegetable.
Lying in a hospital bed on life support somewhere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Bye, Donatello.
Yeah, he's done. I never like...
I'm not going to miss Donatello.
I'm not going to miss Donatello.
I'm sorry. I'm
not.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
If you like Donatello.
Such a background character for me.
All right, do you have a rating?
Yeah, I got one.
You have one?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
6.
7. So 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5 Impalas. I can see where you're coming from with the 6.
Because it wasn't a mind-blowing, like, I wasn't on the edge of my seat at all. I was just kind of like, okay, that's connecting this to this.
Yeah, it was Bobby's a big connect the dots episode. I give it a 7 because, first of all, Bobby Singer's on this episode, and I love some Bobby Singer. And I actually really enjoyed the alternate world plot, and I was thinking that when they finally went there that I was just going to be like, ugh. But I didn't. I actually really enjoyed the story, and I liked the justification of, like, the boys I'm sure there had to be some people saying, like, why didn't they bring Bobby with him? And, like, and Bobby's explanation for, like, this world, like, all they have is me. That other world has Sam and Dean to take care of them.
Right.
And I sort of thought that there was a really good setup. So if they're going where I think they're going with that, that's worth a lot of credit to me.
So, when does all the loose ends with, like, Lucifer and Gabriel, like, when does all that get resolved? Oh wait, well they need the grace from an archangel.
That's where Gabriel's coming in. Mr. It's all about the fan service. Look at that. Did they perhaps come up with a really good, legitimate, not just fan service, but legitimate reason?
Yes.
Do you want to have your crow pie with or without whipped cream?
I reserve the right to change my mind.
So with whipped cream, you'll have your crow pie. Okay, guys.
I reserve the right to change my mind.
Let us know in the comments below. Do you think, don't get mad at me, guys, but I already say that. Do you think that this plot is the plot that they're coming up with to potentially end the show?
Yes.
That's what I want to know from you guys. Yes. I also want to know from you guys, does anyone else think that, like, Bobby and Mary might form? I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to be in a relationship.
This show doesn't really do romantic relationships.
That's why I said not a relationship. I don't think it's going to be a relationship.
Like, they touch on it.
Like, not like a full-on relationship.
But I would like to see it go there, though. I would like to see it go there.
You know what? Like, what him and Jody had? Like, there was just this thing. It wasn't like, it wasn't the main part of the show, but it was a thing. Can you see that happening there? All right, that's what I want to know in the comments below. Give us a follow on Twitter and hit that subscribe button in the box below. We put out new videos every Thursday on Supernatural. And also, we're going to have a little bit of crossover fandom videos coming your way soon. So definitely hit the subscribe button so you can see some of that. Other than that, thanks so much for stopping by the Roadhouse.
Carry on and have a wayward week.
Bye, guys.